Welcome to the Health Coach Nation podcast. I'm Haley Rowe, your host and marketing and sales strategist and coach. I work with online wellness professionals, life coaches, and online entrepreneurs on how they can book more clients, fall in love with the sales and marketing process because it is essential if you want to be able to do your coaching as a career and be able to put yourself out there with confidence, with better time management skills, all of that. So on this show, we talk about marketing, sales, time management, and mindset tips. And today I want to talk a little bit about a mindset tip that you can use in your business that's going to help you grow, that's going to help you when different marketing things in your business aren't working and you need to troubleshoot. And that is, we're going to talk about a skill that you have to develop if you want to be able to succeed in your business and grow to full time. And that skill we've talked about a little bit before, but we're going to dive deep into it a little bit more and how you can actually implement it. And that is being solutions oriented. So you've heard me say before that I think the top 3 things that coaches need to succeed when it comes to mindset traits are willingness. So willingness to feel any feeling, even if, whether that's fear, whether that's taking on emotional risk and financial risk in your business, things like that are going to have to happen on the journey. And so we need to have willingness to feel big feelings. We need to have consistency, meaning we need to be putting ourselves out there. We need to be taking small steps regularly. And then the last skill is solutions oriented, being solutions oriented. And one thing that I think happens when we own businesses is we think that we need to, and I'm sorry, we have a weird shadow going on, so I'm trying to not stand in the shadow. But anyways, we think that we need to be perfect. And when I say being solutions oriented, sometimes you think I mean that you can't feel your emotions, you need to be a robot. But that's not what I'm talking about. You can still feel bad about a situation, but still be in a solutions-oriented headspace to solve it. So you don't have to like what's happening to you. You don't have to have positive affirmations about things you don't like that you're having to deal with. But what we don't want to do is be in the victim mode and disempower yourself by saying you can't do anything about it. It's outside of your control. You're helpless. And problems, the sooner in business you can befriend problems and just know that they're a part of it, the better off you're going to be. And our goal is to shorten the time span between you having an emotional experience from some kind of setback and you jumping into ways you can solve it. Because in business, if you're always in an emotional headspace and feeling bad about something and not working towards actively solving it, you're losing time and you're delaying where you could be in your business. So we have to learn how to, yes, process our emotions, but have a faster bounce back rate, have a faster resiliency rate. And in order to do that, we have to jump into solutions mode so that we're empowered and we're doing something about it. So the sooner, like I said, you can see problems as not a problem, but just part of the game. It's not that you're failing. It's not that you're doing something wrong, the better. And the other thing is stop trying to avoid problems. That's another thing I see that get people in like what we call analysis paralysis. They don't want to get into any problems. Like, I don't want to launch and then not have clients, so I'm just not going to launch at all. Or I don't want to go live because then I have the potential opportunity, the potential of people judging me. And so I'm just not going to go live at all. So instead, if you've been in the pattern of like, I'm going to avoid things because I don't think I can deal with the feelings or the consequences that come if I do something and it's scary or it works and then I have a new level of success that I have to face that I'm not ready for or whatever, we also have to work on that. And that's something that you're going to want to address. But one little quick story before we go into 4 ways that you can develop your solutions-oriented trait within yourself is the other week I was giving a guest training for a group program, and I was in the middle of the guest training and my Zoom went out all of a sudden. I don't know what happened. I was knocked off the live, and I was, trying to get back on and make sure that we could finish the training. But while I was doing that, I looked down at my phone and my mom had texted my family text saying, oh, our cat has gone missing. And this is like my family cat who I love. I spend a lot of time over there with this little cutie. And of course, I'm like freaking out and like, oh man, I want to go find him. Like, he's gone missing and it's cold out and I need to run over there and I don't want to do the rest of this training right now. But of course, I had to finish the training. So jump back on the training, finish the training. But then immediately my brain was, instead of going into freak out mode about the cat, I was like, what can we do about it immediately? And I completely replanned my day after the training and was like, okay, I'm going to go hunt for my cat. And thankfully, this is just a random side note, I get there, my dad's looking in the garage because he hears like a very sad little cry that sounds like our cat. And we're looking everywhere. We cannot figure out where the sound is coming from. And he sounds stuck somewhere. And we're like pulling everything out, looking in everywhere, cabinets. We're like, I don't know how he would have gotten in here, but we're just trying to figure it out, checking behind the fridge in the garage, all the things. And all of a sudden I see this rug that they had rolled up in their garage because they were getting rid of it. And it's like a huge rug for like a big room. And I start unrolling it and my cat was stuck inside of the rug. So that day was a day where I had to immediately, instead of just dwelling in the feelings, I had to just go into solutions mode, not give up on finding the cat. We found the cat. But the whole point is you can let yourself have times where you fall apart and process emotions and go into a little bit of pity party, but you just can't let it be the whole day, and you just can't let it be a super long time, because time is of the essence when you're a business owner. And so to develop our solutions oriented skill, here's the first step that you have to learn, which is compartmentalizing sometimes. And what I mean is you're not ignoring your emotions, but you are giving yourself space to happen, like to process what you need to process, but you're not letting it leak into your work. You're not letting it leak into your clients and how you coach and things like that. You really want to show up grounded for your clients. You want to show up grounded for your marketing. And if you are really finding yourself staying, like letting that your emotions come with you into your work and it's damaging how you're showing up for your work, you have to practice a little bit of compartmentalization. And the way that you would want to do that potentially, I've heard different techniques throughout the years, but like journaling can be a really good thing, where you have an appointment with yourself in the morning or at night and you clear your head and you do a brain download and I like to do what we call thought tables. I learned that in my life coaching certification with Jen Ride, but you can do whatever you do to work through things. And then it's there for you when you need to go back to it, but it's kind of like when a singer steps on stage, it's showtime. It's similar in your work. You're going to have to be like, it's showtime, it's work time, and I can revisit that later. And I've set aside time for that. Or another one I heard about is something called the worry bucket, having like a time and place when you dump down all your worries and you write them down and you just let yourself have that moment, and then you go back to whatever you're doing. So choose how you're going to start to compartmentalize when you can and when you need to. And then step 2 is to catch yourself more often in your business when you are going off of feelings instead of priorities. So it's sometimes what happens when we have a business is we love feeling inspired, we love feeling creative, and we only want to do certain tasks when we're in that mode, when we feel like it. But if you're going to have a business for the long run and you're wearing all the hats in your business right now because it's newer, you might not have the luxury of always just waiting until you feel like doing something. So you're going to have to get really good at prioritizing what needs to be done first and in what order, and how can you get yourself to do it and execute it and follow through. And that is being in solutions mode. So when you get into overwhelm victim, I want to wait till I feel like it in a motivated mode, you don't get anything done. But when you are in solutions mode, you're being really good at prioritizing, and you're going off of priorities, not feelings. So you're asking yourself, what's the right next step? What's actually urgent here? What can I shift so that I stay in alignment with my commitments? Or one of my favorite questions, can I just, and then insert the next smallest step that you can take. So when you are going down the rabbit hole of asking the wrong questions that are emotionally based, like, oh, why don't I feel like doing this today? Or what's wrong with me? Or why can't I stay motivated? Shift the questions to more solutions-oriented questions that get you clear on your priorities and your next steps. And step 3 to improve your ability to be solutions-oriented is you want to allow yourself to assess the problem, adjust or pivot what you need to pivot, and then execute. And then remember that the emotional processing part is part of it too, and decide when you're going to do that. But I think that one thing that we have to also realize is you're going to have to do things and go into solutions mode and guess what the solution is and try it before knowing the outcome, and be okay with that risk. Sometimes people are not okay with the risk of, I don't want to try something and it not work. But in order to move forward in business, you have to be willing to try things, see what works. And while you can take educated guesses and do courses and work with a mentor or whatever to help you make sure you're making educated decisions about that, you still, nobody gets to skip testing things. Nobody gets to skip some of the trial and error required to grow. Okay. And the last step is to expect problems. Like we talked about before, normalize problems. They're not signs from the universe that you need to stop. It's not a sign that you need to completely change your whole niche or reinvent your whole offer. Being solutions oriented is just realizing I'm going to keep refining something until it works. And most coaches interpret problems instead as, oh, maybe I'm just not ready for this. Maybe this is a sign to not do this. And every once in a while, your gut instinct will tell you something and it will be accurate and true. But I think it's too common that people give up too soon and just take any sort of sign that, oh, well, must not be the right thing, when that's not necessarily true. So problems happen. It's part of the game. And the difference and who you need to be is you want to be the kind of person who is a great problem solver. You're a great solutions finder. You creatively and energetically have good ideas to move something forward or change things that you don't like. And in order to do that, let's just recap the 4 ways you can do that. Number 1 is you got to compartmentalize sometimes and give yourself separate processing time for your emotions. Number 2, you have to not go off of feelings, instead go off of priorities. Number 3, you have to focus on solutions first and really assess them and ask good questions about them instead of limited, disempowering questions. And number 4, you want to expect problems to be part of this whole journey. It's not a bad thing, not a sign you did something wrong, not a sign you're failing. And if you are wanting to really develop your CEO mindset, improve how you spend your time, I think that's a huge thing for coaches, is they're spending time on the drama of overthinking everything, doubting themselves, scatterbrainness, trying shiny objects. If you want to shift to being more focused, you want to have emotional support on the journey, you want to improve your messaging and your marketing clarity, you want to improve your ability to stay consistent even when life gets lifey. This is what I do every week with my clients in the Coach Inner Circle. And it's really a program where we are taking you through how to book clients, how to market your business, how to not get stuck in the drama, and to become somebody who has staying power in the coaching field, somebody who is resilient, somebody who doesn't, just give up and not show up consistently, that kind of thing. So if you're looking to improve how you show up in your business, you want to attract more clients. And by the way, how you show up really impacts whether or not you're getting clients. You can go to haleyrowe.com and book a free consult and learn more about the Inner Circle. But if you have any questions, you can also reach out on Instagram. I'm at Haley_Rowe, and I look forward to connecting. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon.